I'm a 21-year-old guy who just terminated a 2-year relationship in the time it takes to brew a cup of coffee. The entire exchange happened over text, lasted maybe 3 minutes tops, and I'm still wrapping my head around how quickly everything imploded. Met my now former girlfriend, Sienna, at a mutual friend's backyard barbecue when I was 27. She was 25 at the time, had this infectious creative energy, made me crack up within minutes of talking. The connection was instant and intense. Within a month, we were basically cohabitating, bouncing between her place and mine constantly. She worked as a graphic designer for some boutique marketing agency downtown, always came home with absurd stories about clients requesting impossible design changes or wanting their logo to pop more, without explaining what that meant. For nearly 2 years, everything seemed perfect. Then, about 6 weeks ago, her former boyfriend resurfaced and started texting her. They dated for 4 solid years before splitting up approximately 8 months prior to us meeting. According to Sienna's version of events, he was your stereotypical wannabe musician who couldn't commit to anything stable, kept bouncing between jobs, prioritized his garage band over building an actual career. She claimed she ended things because she needed someone reliable, and he was the opposite of that. His lifestyle was chaotic and she wanted security. Initially, I wasn't concerned. Everyone carries relationship history, right? No big deal. But then he reached out claiming he'd completely turned his life around, secured a legitimate position doing audio engineering work at some recording studio across town, wanted to make amends for how things ended between them. Sienna showed me the initial messages, explained she just wanted proper closure after how messy their breakup had been. Seemed reasonable enough. I told her to handle it however she needed to, that I trusted her judgment. What started as a single coffee meeting to talk things through quickly escalated into twice-weekly sessions, which somehow morphed into daily text exchanges. Suddenly, his name was constantly illuminating her phone screen. Good morning messages before I was even awake. Lengthy late-night conversations after we'd gone to bed. Shared memes I didn't understand, inside jokes from their years together that went completely over my head. About 3 weeks ago, I casually mentioned it seemed like they were communicating pretty excessively. She immediately became defensive, demanding to know if she wasn't allowed to maintain friendships with men now. I pointed out she was messaging him more frequently than she messaged me at this point. She called me insecure and accused me of being controlling, said I was manufacturing problems where none existed. I dropped the subject because I didn't want to be that paranoid, jealous boyfriend everyone warns you about. Last Friday, everything started unraveling. Sienna canceled our dinner reservation that evening at the absolute last minute possible. Sent me a text around 5 saying work had completely drained her, mentally and emotionally. She just needed a quiet night at home to decompress and recharge. I completely understood since her job legitimately could be stressful with demanding clients and tight deadlines. Told her no problem, get some rest, we'd reschedule for another night. Then, around 8 that evening, her Instagram story appeared, showing her at some indie concert venue downtown. She was wearing the dress she'd specifically purchased 2 weeks earlier for our dinner date, the one she'd been excited to wear out. Standing right next to her in the photo was her ex. I screenshot the story but didn't confront her immediately. Just mentally filed it away while I processed what I was seeing. Saturday afternoon, she showed up at my apartment acting like absolutely nothing unusual had happened the night before. When I asked how her restful evening at home went, she said the alone time really helped her feel better and more centered. I mentioned seeing her Instagram story from the concert. She froze for maybe half a second before her face smoothed out. "Oh yeah," she said casually. Her ex had an extra ticket at the last minute and figured I wouldn't be into that kind of music anyway, so didn't bother asking. Not an apology. Not even acknowledgement that lying to me was problematic behavior. Just immediate justification and deflection. I let it slide while I internally processed everything, trying to figure out if I was overreacting. Then, Tuesday afternoon this week changed everything permanently. We were both working remotely from my apartment. I was stationed in the living room, handling work emails and spreadsheets. She was on the couch with her laptop, supposedly making progress on design projects for upcoming client presentations. Her phone rang. Not a text notification, an actual phone call. From her ex. She answered before the second ring, immediately stood up, walked directly into my bedroom, and closed the door firmly behind her. 43 minutes. I know the exact duration because I watched the clock on my laptop the entire time, getting progressively more frustrated and done with this entire situation. When she finally emerged from the bedroom, she had this satisfied smile on her face. Didn't mention the call at all. Didn't apologize for disappearing during our shared work time. Just sat back down on the couch and opened her laptop like having private hour-long phone conversations with your ex-boyfriend while physically at your current boyfriend's apartment was completely normal and acceptable behavior. I waited approximately 10 minutes to see if she'd acknowledge it on her own. She didn't, so I just said it directly. We need to discuss your ex-boyfriend. She actually rolled her eyes at me. Visible eye roll. Here we go again, she muttered. I laid everything out plainly. She'd lied to me about Friday night. She was constantly communicating with him throughout every single day. She'd just spent nearly an hour on a private phone call with him in my bedroom. This wasn't platonic friendship anymore. This was something else entirely. She stood up, crossed her arms defensively, and accused me of being controlling and possessive. Said she was allowed to maintain friendships with male friends without my permission. I clarified that he wasn't just some random guy friend from her past. He was her serious ex-boyfriend of 4 years, who she was clearly still emotionally invested in and prioritizing over our current relationship. She stood there with her arms crossed and asked point blank if I was delivering an ultimatum, if it was him or me. I explained that what she was actively doing demonstrated complete disrespect toward our relationship. She was consistently prioritizing him over me, lying about spending time with him, having lengthy private conversations during time we were supposed to be spending together. Her response is what sealed everything. She said flatly that she was not giving up her friendship with him just because I was feeling insecure about it. Deal with the situation or don't, but she wasn't changing her behavior either way. The way she delivered it, so matter-of-fact and entitled, like I was somehow supposed to just accept being the backup option in my own relationship, while she maintained whatever this was with her ex. Something clicked in my brain. I felt weirdly calm suddenly, like everything crystallized into perfect clarity. Okay, I said simply. She smiled, actually smiled like she'd won something, looked visibly relieved. She said she knew I'd understand eventually, that I wasn't like other guys who couldn't handle their girlfriends having male friends, that this understanding is why she loved me. I continued speaking. I understand that you're choosing him, so I'll be moving forward solo from this point on. Her expression shifted dramatically to confusion. What does that mean exactly? She asked. It means you get to keep your ex-boyfriend in your life? I get to keep my self-respect and dignity. We're finished. Goodbye. It took her several seconds to fully process what I'd just said. Then panic washed over her face. Wait, what? You're actually breaking up with me right now? Yes, I confirmed. Over this, over me maintaining a friendship, over you lying repeatedly, prioritizing him consistently, and explicitly telling me to just accept being disrespected in my own relationship. I'm good with my decision, actually. Immediate waterworks, full crying, tears streaming down her face. She couldn't believe I'd actually do this to her, thought I was different from other guys, thought I trusted her more than this. I explained calmly that I did trust her completely until she lied about Friday night. Once you lie, trust evaporates. She insisted it was only one time. One time that I definitively know about, I corrected. How many other times did she need to decompress alone at home while actually hanging out with him? Her silence and facial expression told me everything I needed to know. I asked her to leave my apartment. She protested that it was basically her apartment too, since she spent so much time there, kept so many belongings there. I reminded her that she didn't contribute to rent. Her name wasn't on the lease. It was legally my apartment. Please leave now. The tears transformed into anger remarkably fast. She started grabbing her laptop charger and the sweatshirt she'd left draped over my chair last week, muttering loudly about how I was throwing away 2 years over absolutely nothing, how I was acting like a child having a tantrum, how no other woman would tolerate my jealousy issues and insecurity. At the door, she turned around for one final declaration. You know what? Fine, leave then. See how long it takes before you're desperately begging me to come back. I'm a catch, and you just completely screwed yourself over. I doubt that very much, I replied. Bye. Closed the door, engaged the lock, stood there, breathing deeply for a solid minute. My buddy texted me almost immediately afterward. Turns out Sienna had already posted to her Instagram story. When your boyfriend chooses his fragile ego over love. I systematically blocked her on every platform. Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, her phone number, completely done. It's been roughly 18 hours since the breakup. I feel strange, but not devastated. Like, theoretically, I should be more emotionally torn up about ending a 2-year relationship, but predominantly, I just feel relieved. I spent 3 solid weeks walking on eggshells around her, constantly second-guessing my own perceptions, wondering if maybe I was being paranoid and unreasonable. Turns out my instincts were accurate the whole time. That's honestly validating. So yeah, that's my current situation. Single and genuinely unbothered by it. Gonna order delivery pizza and play video games without someone constantly texting their ex-boyfriend on my couch. Things escalated exactly how I anticipated, except somehow even more intensely. After I blocked Sienna across all platforms, she apparently attempted calling my phone roughly 60 times from her actual number. When that strategy failed completely, she borrowed her sister's phone to circumvent the block. This happened yesterday evening around 8. I answered since I didn't recognize the number. Finally, why did you block me? That's incredibly immature behavior. Is this my ex-girlfriend using someone else's phone to deliberately violate a clearly established boundary? She acted like I was being overdramatic. We needed to talk through this situation properly, she insisted. We already talked, I reminded her. You explicitly stated you were keeping your ex in your life regardless of how I felt about it. I said, okay, I'm removing myself from the situation. Conversation complete. She claimed I hadn't let her properly explain herself, that I'd made a rash, snap decision without giving her a chance. I pointed out she'd had 3 full weeks to explain and spent that entire time lying to my face and calling me insecure whenever I raised concerns. I was thoroughly done with explanations. This is absolutely ridiculous, she kept repeating. Was I seriously terminating our entire relationship over a friendship? Same script, same arguments, like she genuinely couldn't comprehend that actions carry consequences. Not a friendship, I corrected. An emotional affair. But hey, we can debate semantics if you want. Gotta go. I hung up and immediately blocked her sister's number as well. Approximately 1 hour later, her best friend texted me. I didn't even realize she had my number stored. She messaged saying she knew things were rough right now, but maybe I should hear Sienna out properly. She was really upset and there'd been some kind of misunderstanding that needed clearing up. I replied that there was zero misunderstanding. Sienna chose him, I chose myself. Pretty straightforward situation. The best friend insisted Sienna wasn't choosing him, was simply being friends like mature adults do, and I was being really unfair about the whole thing. Cool opinion, I replied. We're not together anymore, so my fairness isn't her concern or problem. That comment got me blocked by the best friend immediately. 2 for 1 special. Then came multiple calls from her mother. That started this morning. I didn't answer any of them. She left a voicemail introducing herself properly and saying she didn't usually get involved in young people's relationship business, but her daughter was absolutely devastated by my actions. Sienna made a small mistake and I was punishing her like she'd committed a serious crime. She'd raised Sienna to value loyalty and clear communication, and frankly, she was disappointed in how I'd handled this entire situation. Please call Sienna back so we could talk through things like adults. Small mistake. Interesting characterization of sustained lying and emotional cheating over multiple weeks. I deleted the voicemail without responding. Work got uncomfortable today. We have exactly 1 mutual friend from the original barbecue where Sienna and I first met. This guy from my gym named Trevor, who introduced us initially. He pulled me aside during lunch break asking what happened between Sienna and me. She was apparently blowing up our mutual friend group chat, claiming I dumped her completely out of nowhere, for no reason. Out of nowhere? I asked incredulously. She's basically been dating her ex-boyfriend for the past month. Wait, what? Trevor looked genuinely confused. She told everyone I got jealous because she was maintaining a friendship with an old friend. Her ex-boyfriend, I clarified. The one she lied about seeing, the one she talks to constantly throughout every day, the one she canceled our actual date to attend a concert with. Trevor's eyes widened significantly. Oh, she definitely left out some pretty important details in her version. Yeah. Funny how that selective storytelling works. He pulled out his phone and showed me the group chat. Sienna had written this elaborate paragraph about how I couldn't handle her having any male friends whatsoever. Had serious trust issues stemming from some past relationship trauma I don't even have. and how she'd really dodged a bullet discovering how controlling and possessive I was, before things progressed to something more serious like moving in together or engagement. I screenshot the entire conversation thread. Not entirely sure why, maybe just as evidence for later if I need it. Trevor said for the record, he was completely team me on this. That behavior was shady as hell. I appreciated the support. The real kicker came tonight around 6. Someone knocked on my apartment door. I looked through the peephole, and there was Sienna standing in the hallway, holding bags of takeout from my favorite Thai restaurant across town. I didn't open the door. She knocked again, louder. "I know you're home. Your car is in the parking spot. Please, I just want to talk to you face to face." I remained silent on my side of the door. "I brought dinner, your favorite dishes. We can just eat together and discuss this calmly like adults." More persistent knocking. Then she started audibly crying in the hallway. "I miss you so much. This is stupid and pointless. We're genuinely good together. You're throwing everything away because you're being stubborn and prideful." I pulled out my laptop and sent her a text using Google Voice since she was blocked everywhere else. "I'm not opening this door. You need to leave immediately, or I'm calling the building manager to report maltreatment." She read the message. I could observe her checking her phone through the peephole. Then she set the food bags outside my door and walked away. I retrieved the Thai food about 20 minutes later after confirming she'd actually left. There was a handwritten note attached. "I'm genuinely sorry for lying about Friday night. I was wrong to do that, but you're also wrong for not giving me a proper chance to fix this and work through it together. We're supposed to be a team supporting each other. Please don't give up on us like this. I love you. I'll always love you no matter what." I put the food in my refrigerator and threw the note directly in the trash. Here's the thing I'm processing. Part of me understands she's probably genuinely panicking because reality just crashed down on her hard. She authentically thought I'd simply accept being second priority because I'd been so understanding and accommodating before about other things. Now she's realizing that understanding and accommodation have definite limits. But the substantially bigger part of me is absolutely done with this entire situation. Because even now, even in her supposed apology note, she's still framing it as my stubbornness, my refusal to work on things, my unwillingness to be a team player. Zero actual accountability for the repeated lying, the prioritizing him over me, the fundamental disrespect toward our relationship. Just, "I'm sorry, but you're also wrong." That's not a real apology. Nah, I'm good with my decision. My buddy suggested I might want to start documenting everything systematically in case she escalates further. Apparently, his older brother went through something eerily similar, and his ex tried making all sorts of false accusations when he refused to take her back. So that's exactly what I'm doing now. Keeping detailed screenshots, saving voicemails, writing down incident summaries with dates and times. Probably overly paranoid, but better safe than blindsided later. Tomorrow morning, I'm changing my apartment door code. It's one of those electronic keypad locks, and she knows my current code. Also planning to inform the building manager that my ex-girlfriend might attempt to access the building and shouldn't be permitted up to my floor. This is genuinely exhausting. I just wanted a clean break. Why does everything have to become dramatic? Okay, so things got significantly more unhinged than I anticipated. Friday morning, 2 days after my previous update, I woke up and headed downstairs for my usual morning coffee run around 7. Sienna was sitting in my building's lobby. Just sitting there at 7 in the morning, looking like she hadn't slept at all, hair disheveled, yesterday's makeup still smudged on her face, clutching a coffee cup from the cafe across the street. "Morning," she said casually, like this was perfectly normal behavior. "What are you doing here?" I asked directly. "Waiting for you. We need to talk properly." "No, we don't. You need to leave this building. I'm not leaving until you hear me out completely. I've been thinking a lot about everything. I don't care what you've been thinking," I said. "We're done." "How did you even get inside the building?" "Tailgated behind someone when they unlocked the door. Look, I talked to my therapist about all of this. You don't have a therapist. I started seeing one specifically because of this situation. She said we should communicate our needs clearly to each other, and I haven't been doing that properly. So I'm here to communicate now. My need is for you to leave me alone," I replied. Super clear communication. Bye. I walked past her toward the exit and she followed me right out to the sidewalk. "You're being genuinely cruel. I'm trying to fix things and you won't even listen to me." Because there's nothing to fix, I said. You made your choice. I made mine. That's the end of it. You don't even care that I'm hurting. I stopped walking and turned around. You're hurting because you're facing consequences for your actions. That's not my problem or responsibility anymore. You cheated emotionally for weeks. You lied repeatedly to my face. And when I directly called you on it, you told me to just deal with it. So I am dealing with it. By leaving. I wasn't cheating on you, she insisted desperately. We're just friends now. Cool story, I said. You told it better last time. Still not interested. I got my coffee and returned upstairs. She didn't follow me up. I made absolutely certain the doorman understood she wasn't allowed in the building anymore under any circumstances. That evening around 9, I received a call from another unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered it. This is Sienna's sister. You need to stop this nonsense immediately. Oh, good, the sister calling. Stop what exactly? Playing manipulative games with my sister's emotions. She's a complete wreck. Do you even know she's barely eating anything, can't focus at work, crying constantly throughout the day? That's unfortunate, I said. Also not my responsibility anymore. She made a mistake. One mistake and you're punishing her like she committed murder. She made multiple deliberate mistakes over multiple weeks, I corrected, then explicitly told me to accept it or leave. I left. What's confusing about that? The confusion is why you're being such a heartless jerk about everything. She genuinely loves you. Then she should have acted like it. Instead, she prioritized her ex, lied repeatedly about it, and showed zero respect for our relationship. That's not love. That's selfishness. Oh, please, her sister scoffed. You're just jealous because her ex is more successful than you professionally. That was random and weirdly specific. What are you talking about? He just got promoted to senior sound engineer position, making 6 figures now. But you can't handle that she's friends with someone doing better than you career-wise. I actually laughed out loud. You genuinely think I care about her ex's job title or salary? You people will justify absolutely anything. I'm hanging up now. She's going to hurt herself over this, the sister said ominously. If something happens to her, it's on you and your conscience. I hung up immediately and screenshot the call log showing her sister's number. That's manipulative as hell, threatening self-damage to guilt someone into staying in a relationship. Textbook emotional misuse tactics. I texted my buddy about the conversation. He advised me to document absolutely everything and don't engage with them at all anymore. Saturday was surprisingly quiet. I thought maybe the storm had finally passed. Sunday morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls from Sienna's mother, 3 lengthy voicemails, and a string of text messages that progressively became more aggressive. First text, we need to discuss your treatment of my daughter immediately. 5th text, ignoring me won't make the situation go away. 11th text, you're acting like a complete coward. Face the consequences of your actions. Fine, we'll see how you like being dragged publicly. Oh, wonderful, threats now. Approximately 1 hour later, she posted something on Facebook and tagged numerous mutual friends in it. She didn't tag me directly because I'd blocked her, but people screenshot it and sent it to me. Long, detailed post about narcissistic misuse patterns, about how I'd systematically isolated her from friends, completely false, controlled who she could talk to, never happened, and abandoned her the moment she set healthy boundaries, completely backwards from reality. The comments section was mixed. Some people who actually knew both of us personally called her out immediately. Wasn't he super supportive of your career? This doesn't sound accurate at all. But some people ate it up completely. Wow, I'm so sorry you went through this. You deserve so much better. Men really can't handle independent women. My buddy's girlfriend commented directly. This is extremely one-sided. Maybe tell them about your ex-boyfriend you were sneaking around with behind his back. That comment got deleted within minutes, and she got blocked immediately. Monday at work was uncomfortable. My office has maybe 30 employees total. Pretty small company. One of the women from accounting approached me during lunch break. Hey, so I saw a post circulating on social media about you. Fantastic, I said. Yeah, my ex is angry. I broke up with her for lying and emotionally cheating. Oh, she made it sound like you were abusive and controlling. I wasn't remotely. She was seeing her ex-boyfriend behind my back. I found out about it, I left. Now she's spinning elaborate stories because she didn't think I'd actually follow through with leaving her. That tracks honestly, she said. Her story seemed off to me, like too perfectly crafted to portray herself as a sufferer. At least some people retain critical thinking skills. Tuesday yesterday, Sienna's best friend showed up at my apartment building. The doorman called up to my apartment. Sir, there's a young woman down here asking for you. Says she's not your ex, she's your ex's friend and needs to drop something off urgently. Don't let her up under any circumstances, I said. She claims it's important documents you need. It's absolutely not, I said firmly. She's maltreating me on behalf of my ex. Please ask her to leave the building. Apparently, she argued with the doorman for 10 solid minutes before he threatened to call the police. She finally left whatever she had with him at the front desk. It was a letter, 3 full pages, handwritten in pen. Basically a manifesto from Sienna about how I'd shattered her heart, how she'd done absolutely nothing wrong, how her ex is purely a friend and always will be, how I'm allowing my insecurities to destroy something beautiful, and how she's willing to forgive me if I apologize sincerely and we attend couples counseling together. Forgive me for leaving after she cheated and lied repeatedly. The entitlement is genuinely astronomical. The last paragraph was the real kicker. I know you're reading this and feeling guilty right now. You should feel guilty. You gave up on us without even attempting to try. But I'm willing to give you one final chance. Call me by Friday and we can start completely fresh. If you don't, I'll know you never really loved me at all, and I'll move on with my life. Your choice. An ultimatum. She's delivering an ultimatum to me. I took a photo of the entire letter and sent it to my buddy with the caption, "The audacity is unbelievable." He replied immediately, "Dude, she's genuinely unhinged. Do not respond under any circumstances." I wasn't planning to respond at all, but here's what I did do. I called a lawyer for a consultation. 45-minute appointment cost me $200. I explained the entire situation in detail. The constant contact attempts through multiple channels, the public defamation on social media, her sister's threatening implication about self-damage, the repeated showing up at my building, the maltreatment through third parties. The lawyer said I had solid grounds for a restraining order if this behavior continues or escalates. Also mentioned, her Facebook post was borderline defamation, but proving actual damages would be difficult and probably not worth pursuing legally. His advice was straightforward. Document everything meticulously. Don't engage with her or anyone representing her at all. And if she shows up one more time, immediately file for the restraining order. You've made your boundaries crystal clear. She's actively choosing to violate them repeatedly. So that became my plan. Her ultimatum deadline was Friday. When I inevitably don't call, I'm anticipating she'll escalate one final time. When she does, I'm filing immediately. Part of me feels somewhat bad, like she's clearly not handling rejection well, and maybe I should feel some sympathy for her emotional state. But the substantially bigger part of me is just exhausted by all of this. I didn't do anything wrong, and I established a reasonable boundary. Don't lie to me. Don't emotionally cheat. She deliberately crossed that boundary. I left. That's the entire story. Her inability to accept reality isn't my burden to carry anymore. My buddy asked if I regret ending the relationship at all. Completely honest answer, not even slightly. Every single day since the breakup, she's demonstrated exactly who she really is. Manipulative, entitled, zero accountability for her actions, willing to lie and distort stories to portray herself as a sufferer. I dodged a nuclear missile, not just a bullet. Friday came and went without me calling, obviously. Saturday morning at 8:47, Sienna appeared at my building again, this time accompanied by her ex-boyfriend. Yeah, her actual ex, the guy this entire situation was about from the beginning. They showed up together. The doorman called me immediately. "Sir, your ex-girlfriend is here with a male companion. Both are demanding to see you. Call the police for trespassing," I instructed. "Already done, sir. Just giving you advance notice." I went downstairs with my phone recording audio in my pocket. The lawyer had confirmed audio recording is legal in my state as long as one party, meaning me, knows about it. I reached the lobby and there they were. Sienna looked defiant and determined. He looked uncomfortable, like he desperately wanted to be literally anywhere else. "You had until Friday," she said immediately upon seeing me. "And you had until I blocked you to respect boundaries. Yet here we are again. We need to talk about this. This is Marcus, by the way, since you've been so obsessed with him, apparently." First time hearing his actual name. I genuinely didn't care enough to ask before. I'm not obsessed with anyone, I said calmly. I simply don't date people who lie and cheat. He's your problem now. Congratulations. Her ex shifted his weight awkwardly. Look, man, I don't want any drama here. She just explained you two were having communication issues, and she wanted me here for emotional support. Communication issues, I repeated slowly. That's what she told you? Yeah, that you couldn't handle her having guy friends. I pulled out my phone, opened the screenshots showing her canceling our date, then displayed the Instagram story of them together at the concert. She lied about being exhausted from work, then went to a concert with you wearing a dress she specifically purchased for our date. That's not communication issues. That's cheating. His facial expression changed dramatically. Wait, hold on. You told me you two were already broken up when we went to that show. Oh. Sienna went visibly pale. We were basically broken up at that point. We'd been fighting constantly. We had one single conversation where I mentioned you were talking to him frequently. That's not remotely close to being broken up. You were being controlling and possessive. You were lying and cheating. Marcus looked directly at her. You explicitly told me you were single. I was emotionally single. She tried to explain. He wasn't meeting my emotional needs. So you were simultaneously dating both of us? He said slowly, understanding dawning. It wasn't like that at all. Police officers arrived right at that moment. Two of them, both looking tired already despite it being early morning. We received a call about trespassing, one said. Yes, sir, I confirmed. The doorman said these two individuals don't live here, and the resident has repeatedly asked them to leave. The female officer looked at me directly. Is this your ex-girlfriend? Yes, ma'am. We broke up 2 weeks ago. She's been maltreating me consistently, showing up here multiple times, sending various people to my door, calling from different numbers repeatedly. I've documented everything thoroughly. My lawyer recommended I file for a restraining order if she returned. That's not maltreatment, Sienna shouted loudly. I'm trying to fix our relationship. There is no relationship, I said calmly and evenly. I ended it. You can't force someone to be with you. The male officer turned to her. Ma'am, is your name on the lease for this building? No, but I've been... Then you're trespassing. You need to leave now. This is absolutely insane, she protested. I just want to talk to him reasonably. He doesn't want to talk to you, the female officer stated firmly. You need to leave immediately, or we're charging you with trespassing. Marcus grabbed her arm. Come on, let's just go. This isn't worth it. No, this is ridiculous, she said. He's being completely unreasonable. Ma'am, final warning. Sienna looked at me with tears streaming down her face. You're really doing this. You're going to have me arrested over this. You're doing this to yourself, I replied. I asked you to leave me alone multiple times. You refused every time. These are consequences for your actions. The officers escorted both of them out of the building. I provided them with my complete documentation. Screenshots of messages, the Facebook post, call logs, everything organized chronologically. The female officer informed me I could file for a protection order at the courthouse Monday morning, and they'd be noting this incident officially in their report. After they departed, the doorman apologized to me. Sorry you're dealing with the situation, sir. Not your fault whatsoever, I said. Thanks for calling the police when you did. I went back upstairs and just sat on my couch for a while, processing everything. The whole situation felt surreal. My buddy came over that afternoon with beer and pizza. We didn't discuss the incident much, just watched basketball and decompressed together. Monday morning, I filed for the protection order at the courthouse. Had to complete paperwork, explain the entire situation to a judge, presented all my documentation. He granted a temporary order immediately. Sienna can't contact me through any means, can't come within 500 feet of my home or workplace. There'll be a hearing in 3 weeks where she can contest it, but my lawyer said with my thorough documentation, it'll likely become permanent. The order got officially served to her on Tuesday. I know because her mother called my workplace, which I immediately reported to my lawyer since it violates the protection order terms. My boss called me into his office. Your ex-girlfriend's mother called here, demanding to speak to you directly. I told her that's not happening, and if she calls again, we're reporting it to the police. Just wanted to make sure you're okay. I'm okay, I assured him. Sorry, this is bleeding into work. Not your fault at all, he replied. She sounds genuinely unhinged. You did the right thing getting that order. That was yesterday. Today has been quiet, the first genuinely peaceful day in 2 solid weeks. I checked my email tonight and found one from Marcus, her ex. Hey, I don't expect you to respond to this, and I'll completely respect if you don't. Just wanted to say I'm sorry for my part in this mess. She told me you two had broken up and she was just nervous to tell people yet. When I realized she'd lied to both of us, I immediately cut contact. For what it's worth, you handled this way better than I would have. She's been blowing up my phone constantly, calling me a traitor, saying I ruined her life. Blocked her eventually. Anyway, sorry again. You deserve better than this. I didn't respond to the email. What would there even be to say at this point? But it was validating in a way. Confirmation that my perception of reality was actually reality, not the distorted version she'd been selling to everyone. So that's where things stand currently. Protection order in place. X finally facing actual legal consequences for maltreatment. Life slowly returning to normal. My buddy asked how I feel about everything now that the dust is settling. Honestly, tired. Disappointed that someone I genuinely cared about turned out to be this manipulative and entitled. But also relieved it happened now instead of 2 years from now, or after officially moving in together or getting engaged. The whole experience taught me something valuable, though. People will really show you who they are if you pay attention to their actions. Sienna told me directly she wasn't letting go of her ex. I should have simply believed her the first time, instead of hoping she'd choose differently, but I'm genuinely good now. No regrets whatsoever about leaving. Every time I wavered even slightly, which happened once or twice in the early days, she'd do something that reminded me exactly why I left. Like showing up to my building with the guy she was emotionally cheating with, then acting shocked when there were consequences. The entitlement never stops being shocking. Anyway, that's the conclusion of this saga. Moving forward now. Being single honestly sounds pretty great right about now. To everyone who reached out with support or shared similar stories, thank you. It helped knowing I wasn't crazy for establishing boundaries and actually enforcing them. Too many people stay in situations like this because they feel guilty or think they're overreacting. You're not. If someone shows you they don't respect you, believe them, then leave. Your dignity isn't negotiable.